Hey guys, welcome to the 4 a.m. podcast, man. This is my first time on here. I'm here with my guest hosts. What's it called? Colton Chenard and Cole Holloway.
Wait, who's the guest host here?
Yes,
I'm the
host.
guest host, and
Oh, okay.
let me tell you something, bud. Everyone that's listening to this podcast, if you haven't done it already, which I don't know why you wouldn't, turn on notifications. Just do it.
Hit the bell. Hit the bell.
It's not the best podcast, but at least you're getting something. You know what I'm saying? At least you're getting something.
What do you mean it's not the best?
Turn on the
podcast?
notifications, subscribe, comment. We want to hear your feedback, babes. We love you out there. Subscribe to the Clips channel, too. We got great clips over there. You might be seeing a whole lot of Ben Wogan over there. Honestly, this is going to be a long fucking podcast. And I think that's about it for the intro, babes.
All right,
You ready to go?
that was a decent first
Just be
run.
sure
but
to
I just
follow-
wanted
It was a
to
good
say,
intro.
He's
Before-
not replacing Dom. Dom's just gonna be here today for whatever reason. He
So-
canceled out last minute, and this is who we got. You know, it's
Listen, I'm
Well,
cool being the sixth man of this podcast. I'm
Ben
cool
was
being
gonna be.
Jamal
He
Crawford
was
of this
gonna be here.
podcast.
He was gonna be here. There's gonna be four of us, but since Dom's not here, Ben's
we
here.
got Ben.
Ben was gonna be the guest, and if this
he's
turns
the first
out,
guest to ever do an intro, so I think he deserves a fucking clap for that one.
yeah, honestly,
Yeah,
that was pretty
Thank
good.
you.
But if this turns out well, and if somebody can't make it again, then maybe Ben will just be a
Have me sub in.
a
I'll be the sixth man,
co-guest star, okay? But
Guest.
Also,
yeah.
I'm
Well,
sorry if
is
I
it-
pointed down here and he's not down here in the fucking thing because
no, he's down there. He's right there.
Okay, I was gonna say
Subscribe.
he's down there on my screen, so
Subscribe.
I'm just
Okay.
doing what I'm seeing, you know.
That's just what I'm saying to your listeners. Subscribe, comment, tell me how cute I am, all that. Okay, guys and
don't
girls, I
subscribe,
don't care.
You're a simp. Don't be a simp.
How am I simp?
Subscribe. No, I said if you don't subscribe, you're a simp. So don't be a simp. Subscribe.
And guess what, guys? I'm subscribed. So I'm a king, and we all know that
If
already.
you want to be like that guy.
Yeah.
All right, so what you been up to lately?
What have I been up to lately, man? I got my old job back at the old grocery store in town. You know how it goes, man. I moved back to the old hometown
To the crib.
because everything in
old
my life
times.
got canceled. Because
True.
you know what I'm saying, dude? I mean, first it was, we're gonna take a 2-week probationary period for school sports.
So, like, did they extend your
classes.
spring break, or?
Yeah, they extended my spring break a week, and they were like, okay, no baseball activity for the week. I'm like, whatever, you know, I get a week off.
I can
I'm
get
fine
jacked.
with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start working out, running hills. You know what I'm saying? Getting huge. That's what I was saying to myself. And then 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Wait till the end of the month. We'll talk to you. And then it was finally like, okay, we're probably gonna be done for the year. This sucks. So do what you got to do. And all my classes are online. So, you know, I'm back in old Motown. You know how it goes.
How's that?
And
How's that switching to online when you were used to being in a classroom setting?
honestly, I changed my entire major because of it.
Really?
Yeah, man. I was taking this education class and you needed to get observation hours for it. And I just couldn't do it because all the schools were closed, so I couldn't go observe, you know what I'm saying? So I would have failed the class, so I had to drop it.
So what'd you switch to now?
I didn't well, I mean, I'm thinking psychology just because that's the basic bitch athlete athlete program to go into, either psychology or physical education.
That's
I
good.
picked psychology because I'm a little bit smarter than some of these idiots that I'm with around here.
I mean,
Dude.
whatever floats your boat, you know?
Listen, guy, I got to tell you something. College athletes, especially at the JUCO level, they're some of the dumbest people I've ever met in my life. And it's okay. Like, it's fine. They're good at sports or whatever. But man,
You're good.
carrying on a conversation that's more than 2 minutes with these people, they're fucking animals. Like, they're animals.
First off, before we get into this, Ben, you want to say where you go to?
Oh, I go to Moraine Valley Community College.
And you,
So we're not lying. He is a college athlete.
I'm technically a college athlete.
and JUCO is
technically.
community college and second year there? Sophomore?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's my redshirt freshman year.
So you're gonna have
but
one
next
more?
year will also be my redshirt freshman year.
So you'll
because
have
this year doesn't count.
So you're gonna have 2 more years there?
Yeah, so it's gonna be like a 4-year
It's
school. Listen, guy, it's fine. Like, it doesn't piss me off that much, but it also kind of does.
You're gonna be
Like,
having a kid when you're
oh,
on your
definitely.
sophomore
Like,
year there.
I already found a girl on the softball team. I'm gonna have a kid with, and it's fine. Like,
Hey,
she's gonna
that
be.
kid better be an athlete then.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the reason I had to find a student athlete to have a kid with.
Especially
Because
junior college.
I gotta make a D1 athlete out of these two JUCO people. You know what I'm saying? Like we might not be good enough, but our kid will be. That's what I'm saying. I might be working at Burcott's now. But my kid will never work at Burcott's. That's a fact.
He's going to Walmart.
He's going to Walmart and then he's going D1. Walmart to D1.
All right, so you said you had some what's it called? Some issues with Joe Rowe when he came on the podcast.
Oh man, listen.
Speak on a
First
couple
of all,
of those.
he came in guns blazing, thinking he ran shit. And, I mean, that's fine. Joe Rowe's a good kid and he means well, but he got a lot of shit wrong. First of all, his hot take on Denny's that it sucked and that no one ever goes in there.
I wish I had you there when I was getting blasted.
Yeah, you got blasted by 3 people who didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. Listen, dude, have you ever drove your stepmom to the airport at 4 a.m. and saw a Denny's when you dropped her off? That's like heaven right there. That's like literally seeing that's like seeing the golden gates of heaven right there. And you go in there, you get a nice 3 stack of pancakes from a girl named Delilah or Carmela or some like
Denise.
You know, Denise. Some pill popping housewife that's 50 years old, you know,
little mustache,
and it's fine. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Facial hair or not, you're gonna get a hot cup of coffee and a grand slam, and you're gonna like it.
And you're gonna get cold sweetie, and you're gonna enjoy it.
I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of just roasting Cole because
there you go.
See now since the tables are turned,
that's kind of what we do on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
I'm still not gonna say I'm going to Denny's over like anywhere else in the world, but I'll hop in a.
Where are you going over Denny's, bro? You going to Waffle House? Are you driving 200 miles south for a Waffle House?
That argument was Cracker Barrel.
No, you're not.
Cracker
Barrel.
I'm
going to Culver's over Denny's any day, dude.
Well, Denny's
even for breakfast. I don't even care.
Bro.
What?
I'll get a burger for breakfast.
Listen, guy. This is the only people who go into Culver's. People who are 300 pounds or 11. Those are the only people who go into Culver's. Little kids or obese people, and that's a fact.
Talk about 300 pounds
dude, I'm
or
160 pounds. What do you mean obese?
Yeah, but I mean, come on, guy. You don't go in.
That's too funny.
Yeah, dude, that's a fact, don't go in there. That's the only people I've ever seen.
Who the fuck goes into Culver's? You fucking get the drive-through, my guy. Social distancing.
I just told you who goes into Culver's. Morbidly obese people.
What's your take on them
they gotta
thinking
get their
that?
Exercise, dude.
What's your take on them thinking that Cracker Barrel is better than Denny's?
Dude,
listen, guy. I mean, Cracker Barrel.
It's better than Denny's. It's not great, but it's better.
It's a higher quality than Denny's. I'll give you that, but more for your money. If you want value, you go to Denny's, okay, guy?
Okay.
You can get a grand slam.
He's a split decision there.
You can get a grand slam for $3.98. Bang. Hot cup of coffee. Bang. Okay. You're right there, dude. Your whole day is made already. Listen, I had a 6 a.m. practice. This is a true story, dude. And this is why I brought up dropping your stepmom off at the airport. I had to. Listen, I had to.
Yeah, that was
Midway is right on the way to my school from my house in Chicago. And I was railing my whole way there because I was trying to get breakfast before 6 a.m. workout started. And I popped into Denny's, you know.
Did you get a
old
big
60-year-old
Did you get a big meal?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, before practice? Oh,
no, it was a workout, so it was like a lifting day.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, if it was like a cardio
I had to get those carbs in. I had to get those carbs in, babe. And
babe.
I got that 3 stack of pancakes, and I felt like $1 million afterward. I'm not going to lie. It might have been chilly outside. I went into Denny's. It was warm. They had a guy who was cross-eyed giving me a water. I mean, I felt at home. I felt like I was back in the
Denny gives the vibes.
Who the hell is cross-eyed and giving you a water at your house?
Someone who's working at Denny's at 4 a.m. guy. Okay, someone who's working a graveyard shift at Denny's. That's who's cross-eyed giving me a water.
Steve, who has to go home to his apartment.
I don't have a problem with those people. You got to make a living, babe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my whole beef.
I'm just saying, how does a cross-eyed dude giving you water make you feel at home?
It made me feel at home because it reminded me of like going to old diners and moments like Yanni's, Silver Dollar. You know what I'm saying? You get a lot of Riri's in there, man. And it's fine. I don't say that word a lot. I don't say the R word a lot, but
That's
some of
the
those
R
people
word.
in Yanni's, what are we talking about here? They were some real idiots. But I mean, it's fine. They had to make a living. You know what I mean?
So on the last podcast, we talked about a Facebook trend where you regularly eat fast food, or sometimes,
Um,
occasionally.
yeah. I mean, I eat like convenience foods, but I don't really eat
But
fast foods. You
well,
know what I'm
have you
saying?
eaten enough at like restaurants to you have a favorite like three and like a least favorite?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say I have a favorite for sure. It's Chipotle. That's like
Well,
that's like the best fast food.
Here's
I
on the
mean,
list of what we went off of on the last podcast. We had McDonald's, Arby's, Taco Bell, um, what was it? What were the Popeyes, Chick-fil-A,
Wendy's
Wendy's,
and
and
McDonald's and Panda
Subway
Express.
and Panda Express.
I already have beef with your list because if someone put Taco Bell in their top three, they're disgusting.
Tom,
Oh
Tom
my
put it in
God!
his
I
He's
top
wish
three.
disgusting.
I
He
Like
said it was
wish
he's
his
Don.
honestly
favorite,
a
dude.
cretin. Dude, first of all, Taco Bell's not even good when you're eating it.
Is
But
okay.
then
Is Taco John's better?
neither are
Okay,
good.
God.
It's literally between the two of them, it's about 60% beef what you're eating. It's disgusting.
Okay, so
It's literally
what's
gross.
your top three?
My top three out of that, I mean, out of that list is probably I go McDonald's and then Pan Express, I don't know, and
What
Wendy's.
the?
Okay, I haven't eaten at Panda Express, but I don't think I would want to eat
Dude,
there.
it's. I'm not
I,
Pan
saying it's
Express is
bad. It's
good.
just not great. I
all,
wouldn't go
all,
there.
Dude,
I wouldn't
all
even
of us
put it in my
decided
top
that
five.
we didn't want to eat there, but I don't think any of us have eaten there.
I've eaten there a couple of times,
Yeah,
and
I've
it's
never.
not great. And the only reason
it's
why I
pretty
do it is
good.
because it's free. I'm getting it for free. That's the only time
I
I've eaten
honestly
there.
think it's pretty good. I think you guys are sleeping, but
Maybe just the one here is
Wendy's
shit.
might actually be my number one, and hear me out on this. Hear me
Okay,
out
because
on this,
Wendy's was
guys.
in our Wendy's. Yeah, I'll agree with
Wendy's
I
that.
is a
mean,
solid
dude,
pick.
you're stoned at 2 in the morning and you see listen, you see those red
Wait,
pigtails? Are you kidding me?
you're
You're
telling me
stopping
you're
and getting
stoned at
three.
2 in the morning? You don't go to McDonald's to copy a McGriddle, dude?
Or a
First of all,
McChicken.
you've seen me eat, Colton, and you know I don't just eat one McGriddle
Well, who the
or
fuck eats one
one.
McGriddle? You order like 5 of them bitches and call it a
Yeah,
night.
listen, guy.
You're gonna
Okay,
have crazy ass cotton mouth.
sorry about that.
McGriddles and you're stoned.
No, I go for the 4 for 4. I get about four of the 4 for 4, so that's 16 items right there.
There's a lot of fours.
That's about four
Holy.
burgers. That's about 4 servings of fries. That's about 4 Frosties, and that's 4 waters. And I down all of that in about 20 minutes and call it a day. I'd probably go to sleep after that if I'm being honest.
Now you're looking like a dad bod, huh?
Oh, dude, do you want to see my body? It's crazy. It's ridiculous. You see my shoulders through this. Anyways, sorry about that.
Our,
But
our
listen,
Spotify listeners are probably confused as fuck right now.
they're like, Jesus, this guy must look like Arnold. I don't.
Yeah, they gotta come over to the YouTube
I'm
channel.
still skinny.
Fucking...
I'm still skinny, but I'm getting there.
All
The
right,
thing
and
is,
then
guys,
what's your least three on that?
Taco Bell, dude, it's disgusting.
Hey, I
agree.
said the same
I
thing.
agree.
Taco Bell is for cretins, and I'm surprised. Dom's a smart guy.
Dude, he
Like,
put that as his favorite, like his number one.
Colton had it at like
I
5, I
actually
think, on
know a
his
guy
list.
on my baseball
Yeah, I
team
had it
who
around like
loves
5.
Taco
Like
Bell,
I wouldn't go to Taco Bell over like most of those places.
and every time there's a Taco Bell, there's like 5 other restaurants right around it. So why would you even bother? Like, it's disgusting.
The only time I ever go to Taco Bell is once again the same thing with Panda Express if I'm getting it for free.
So then
But,
what's your other two on that?
My other two favorites are my least favorites.
Least favorites. Yeah,
Um,
Arby's, Wendy's, McDonald's, Panda
Dude,
Express, Subway.
Burger King is definitely
Burger
down
King was
there.
on there. Burger King was the last
Burger
one.
King, I mean, like, I kind of got beef with Burger King
Oh, yeah?
because, like,
You got
I
beef?
used to date a
Everybody
girl that
from
worked
Moments
there,
has
but
beef
at the
with
same
Burger King.
time, I don't really have beef with them. I just have beef with their fucking service. Like,
Did you like
their
that pun
service
you
is
put
bad.
there? Beef?
that?
Yeah, beef
You
with Burger
got
King.
beef with Burger King.
Yeah, hey man, I got that flame broiled beef with Burger King, and I'm coming in hot with it, guy. Like, honestly, their service is bad. None of their workers want to work there, and I get it, dude. It's always like 90 degrees in their goddamn restaurant, and it smells disgusting in there all the time. It might just be our Burger
And
King.
hey, I just want to say it's not. We're not saying this is every Burger King. All right,
This is ours.
Just
Ours.
in my experience. And listen, there for those people who aren't listening from Moments, and it's probably the majority of you, you know that our Burger King is referred to as Murder King. That just shows you what's going on. There's
yeah,
people
like
get
Dom said
murdered
in
at
the
Burger
last
King, and that's
podcast, there
what it
was a
is.
murderer 15 years ago at our Burger King.
And if you don't know, a kid got shot and they brought him to Burger King. I don't know why they brought him there, to be
Yeah,
honest,
that's
but
an odd place to bring.
that's just a spot where violence happens and it's okay, I guess.
I say the
There's
only good
no-
thing from Burger King is their chicken fries. That's the only thing they have going.
Dude,
You
there's
gotta
no
eat
way
like
that place
100
ain't
of them
haunted.
to get full. Dude.
I know, like it's that, and then it's like the 49-cent nuggets. Like
There's no way our Burger
down
King
them.
ain't haunted by now.
haunted.
Our Burger King's disgusting, and that's the end of it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. It's gross, and yeah, I'm hiding a lot of insecurities about the fact that I used to date someone that worked there, and it's fine.
But hey, you moved on.
Sorry,
You
dude.
moved on.
I moved on, dog. I've moved on.
You're a bigger, better guy now right now. It's all right.
Well, we can agree on one of those, and I'm not even gonna tell you which one. But
I think I know which one.
all right, all right.
All right.
Not a better guy.
You want to move on to some of your conspiracies that you decided to
Yeah,
think of?
I mean, if you guys want to talk conspiracies right now, I'll go right ahead.
Hey, I think anybody enjoys a good conspiracy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna keep it current, just to not bore you guys, just to keep it within our lives. And I want to talk about the coronavirus.
Which we talked
And,
about on the last podcast. We had a brief talk about a conspiracy on it.
Yeah, and what was that regarding? by the
Was
way?
it
Like,
that
The U.S.
that we
brought it
already
over.
had it? We already had it in
Yeah,
like
and
when
that the
like in
the
November?
Chinese,
yeah, when
Prime
everybody got
Ministers-
sick around
Yeah.
November and
Yep.
everybody just thought it was a bad flu, but then now
Yeah.
that the symptoms are happening with the coronavirus, everybody thinks that we already have it.
Another one
personally, I don't
was,
think
a
it.
really high Chinese official tried to say that the U.S. military brought it over to China, and they started-
well, that kind of plays right into my conspiracy theory, and let me tell you why, motherfuckers. So, if you go back to about October last year, something called Event 201 happened. And let me explain to you what that was. It was put on by Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, and it was about, like, a lot of world leaders attended this thing. You got to understand. Lori Lightfoot was there, the Chicago mayor.
What did
J.B.
this?
Pritzker
What
was
did
there,
happen?
the Illinois state governor. It was basically a test run for a pandemic, and it was before anything about the coronavirus had happened. And you know how the coronavirus is like, so there's a group of diseases called coronavirus, but then COVID-19 is our
Yeah.
virus. So
that's the bad
basically,
one, right?
yeah. I mean, it's not the bad one. It's just like coronavirus is like it's a commonly
like,
used term
didn't
to
it come
refer
from
to a virus.
Didn't it come from a bat?
Well,
Like
what
COVID?
pe-
Isn't
what
that
pe-
where that
it's
one
what
came
pe-
from?
it's debatable what the origins were and all that.
Bat, rat, either way, the Chinese eat some weird shit.
It came
Alright,
from an animal.
carry on
That's
with
what
your-
we know. It came from an animal.
Well, listen, guys, and we're
Speaking
gonna
of
get into
animals.
we're gonna get into all of this, but my larger point is it's starting to look more and more like this thing could have been man-made, and let me explain why. I mean,
Okay, I think I know the route you're going with this.
there is one bioweapons facility in the whole country of China. And guess where it is? Guess what city it is
We'll go
in,
with
Cole
Wuhan.
Holloway? Wuhan, China. That's right, Colton. Good job there, buddy.
All right.
There's a bioweapons facility in Wuhan, China. And they tracked, so basically they can go through the genetics of the virus and see like who patient zero was, you know, who first got infected with this virus. And, you know, the person who got infected with this virus is a little bit connected with this what's it called, this
Facility?
bioweapons facility.
Yep.
And I don't know, man, honestly, with this whole like Event 201 and it's seeming like it's been planned out, And Bill Gates has been talking about a pandemic for a long time. He's
Yeah,
been
I
like,
seen a
oh,
YouTube video pop up in my recommended. It was either from 2016 or 2014, but he was talking about how once the next pandemic happens, we're not going to be ready for it, and
right.
what is happening right now, he was 100%
But
accurate.
he he's a little bit of a weird character. So, and this is what I wanted to talk about is he kind of goes into the fact that he wants it to happen because he thinks population control is necessary.
Yeah,
And
that's kind of messed up, to be honest.
it's kind of messed up because I mean you look at him, he's a super liberal guy. He's from the northeast of, wherever, North America, and he's from Silicon Valley. He's got big tech money. He's got all this shit.
That's
And
it's kind of a bold statement by him too, though.
it's a bold statement to say like, "Oh, I want population control." And he was saying, he was predicting that COVID-19 would kill 65 million people in this event 201. And he said it would start from a bioweapons lab in Brazil and it would spread. It basically has gone the opposite way. It happened in China and it spread all the way to Brazil, but he was saying that it would start in Brazil and go through North America, go to Europe, and then go to China. But it basically happened the other way around, and it just feels like it's a little bit too coincidental for me to like just let it slide. Like I see a lot of people, it definitely started from bats. It definitely started in the markets of Wuhan, and yeah, it's possible. But I mean, you also got to think like these people have probably built up a lot of immunity to dealing with these animals that they've been eating and keeping in live captivity. You know what I'm saying? In close proximity to food. You got to think that they've built up a certain amount of immunity to it because they've been doing the same shit for like hundreds, if not thousands of years. They've been going to these markets with animals and all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know if the disease started there.
I
It
think
it all feels it fits together too nicely for me to just accept it like that. You know what I'm saying?
well, talking on the base that Bill Gates said that 65 million we're gonna die from it. We're on a good pace. They think that the peak is it's gonna be happening soon. Considering that there's only 1.7 million cases and only 102,000 have died,
Yeah.
it's pretty good considering that he's thought that 65 million were gonna die from this. But
You know, you know what I think it is, Cole.
and there's also theories that it may die in the summer, come back like when it
Yeah.
started in the winter. Which if that's a whole thing too, that's
And
I
then
don't know.
we gotta reinstitute this whole social distancing bullshit.
And it'll happen.
Dude, we can't even have guys' nights, man. And it
That's
blows.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
guys'
man.
night is gonna be this.
But listen, guys. So this is what I wanted to get to, and this is the whole origin for what I'm talking about here, and it's the fact that I believe, this is my belief, this whole thing is to get us to be afraid and not want to socially interact with each other. I mean, it's obviously working,
But
you
weren't
know.
people already doing that before? Just slowly with the whole
You,
social media, staying
yeah,
inside.
yeah, for sure, definitely, definitely. But this whole thing has just like exponentially grown that whole like wanting to be by yourself and connecting through like fucking Zoom video conference and all this horse shit. You know what I'm saying? If this were an ideal world, we'd be in a fucking podcast studio doing this shit, live. You know what I'm saying?
So why would they want people to go inside? I get the being afraid part, so the government has
Yeah.
control, but why would they
I
want
mean,
people to just
being
be
afraid, but
inside?
also, I mean, the spread of ideas greatly stops when you don't have people interacting with each other, and the spread and the nurturing and the development of good ideas and like basically revolutions and social uprisings, they don't start unless people are allowed to talk with each other and be with each other. You know what I'm saying?
But could you
And I feel
also
like
actually go ahead? I'll wait.
I feel like the elites in this country have lost a lot of control because of the internet. A lot of what they do has started to come out in the last 10 to 15 years, and they don't like that. They want to be able to act with impunity and be able to do whatever they want. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it doesn't fly like that anymore. And you can call it, and they can do whatever they want to like try and call it fake news and all this shit, but a lot of stuff, in the last 2 years with this whole Epstein shit and all this, it's all coming out about these high up people in government just being freaks and weirdos and like not really being for the people. You know what I mean?
There's definitely a possibility of that happening, but it also, to pick it out a little bit, and so some people are able to come up with creative ideas and think of stuff with people, and then there's a good amount of people also that are able to stay in their own confine and then come out with creative ideas and think about just ways to improve since they have nothing else to do but think. So I don't. It could go either way. It's just hard to believe that it could be happening from a government standpoint or from a facility in Wuhan. It's not like you don't think it's gonna happen. It's just like that. You can't believe somebody would do
it. You don't want to believe that someone could be that evil.
Yeah, because like even things are starting to come out with how the government's always been hiding stuff from us, but it's hard to believe that they actually would, considering what the country's been based on. It's for the people. Yeah. But it's just hard to believe that. I mean, it could very well be possible.
I mean, Cole, listen, man. The government hasn't been for the people for a long, long time, man.
Yeah, I agree with
that. And we learned about all this and shit in high school economics class, and just no one listened to it. You know what I'm saying? There's so much red tape that you have to go through to get anything done in Congress. It's all for these lobbyist organizations to get their mitts in, like Big Pharma, Big Tech, all these things. So nothing ever gets done. Nothing ever changes. You still see people on massively addicted to opioids in this country. You still see people not being able to get the Medicare they need, all this stuff. And you think like, oh, a country for the people, by the people would change stuff like that so people aren't dying in the streets of LA because they're homeless and they don't have any access to anything.
You know what I'm saying? Dealing with California being one of the most corrupt states too.
It's just disgusting, dude. I mean, honestly, even in Chicago, I mean, it's just homeless people lining the streets, tents below the freeway, just like everywhere you look, it's just like gatherings and settlements of homeless people. And it's like it's not conducive to like you wouldn't think that a country like America would be like this. You know what I'm saying? Like you would think that we would do everything we could to get these people off the streets. You would think we would be doing everything we could do to get these people off of opioids and get these people, stopping being addicted to these pharmaceutical drugs, but we don't. We don't do it because I mean it's just not in the elite's financial interest to do so. And I mean that's just my opinion, man.
So thinking on how you said all these bad things happening, like opioids and everything happening in LA and the streets of Chicago, New York, all the big cities.
Right.
Do you think that having this giant, because you say people are going into their homes, they're being confined to just themselves.
Yeah.
I feel like people were getting pushed away by social media and everything. And they weren't being as like connected with friends and family, and the only way they connected was through a screen. So could this also be a way of them possibly of wanting to bring back that old, like, you see people are playing card games or playing board games now. They're connecting with family more because that's all they can do. They can just talk to people through communication, which they've been distracted by more things like sports and anything happening in the world, and all that stopped. So, I mean, that could possibly be it could have been maybe another conspiracy in it. For us. Yeah, it could be a conspiracy inside of the conspiracy, but
yeah, I mean, honestly, you could look at this isolation two ways. You can look at it as I can't do anything, I can't see anyone, nothing is on. You can't, like, it's a bummer all around. Or you could use it to improve yourself and improve the relationships you have with the people around you. You could start working out. You could start reading books you want to read. You could take classes at an online university. You could do all this stuff to better yourself. And I just feel like, I don't know, man, like
You could take the high road or
a
you could
lot
take
of
the low
people are
road.
taking the easy way out, I feel. They're just sitting on their phones, jacking off,
And those are the
doing all
people that
this
are
fucking horse shit. And it's
those
just
are the
not,
people that are putting on social media that they're so bored and that they don't know what to do. And those are the people that are like those are the outliers that don't know
They
how to
just have an
connect.
excuse to be lazy, so they're being lazy.
Yeah, they don't know how to
exactly.
connect. Those are the people like you were saying with at JUCO that you literally talk to for like a minute and then you run out of things to talk about with them.
You know what? I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, people just, they're not, they're not used to socially interacting in a real way anymore. I've been saying this for the longest time. I mean, Colton, I mean, I've talked about it with you personally. It's just like that's why I deleted social media, is because I saw myself falling into all of these traps, like caring about like how many people liked my fucking picture and all this horse shit that doesn't that never matters. It's all this bullshit social currency that I can't stand these days. Like,
Yeah, like you get the feeling and the expression of happiness once you see it for the couple seconds that it's there. Once it happens, it's not like a conversation that's happening in face to face. Like
yeah,
even this, it's like once you're done having the conversation, you don't really think too much on it. But like once you're having a face to face conversation, you think about it after because you were thinking like crazy while that whole conversation was happening because there was all this. It's different being face to face than being through a text message, through a like, through anything like a video chat.
yeah.
But that's just I don't know. It's strange to me.
No, I know what you're saying, dude. I mean, honestly, I I mean, I could get into a lot of different conspiracy theories about social media and all that because I'm a little bit schizophrenic and I think everything's a conspiracy theory, but that's just me. And I don't want to subject your listeners to that. I don't want to make that. Let's just tell dick and fart jokes and just be funny. But I mean, if they really want to get into it, we can. But,
I
you know,
mean, we can
that's just how I
have
feel, man.
yeah, we can have two separate. We can have this one be just a couple conspiracy theories and a couple jokes, and then the next one we can a part two, which we've never done before, and just
Yeah,
make
there's
it.
We
two
could
hours
do
worth of
whatever, man.
thumbnails
I
we
Let's
could
could
talk
just
to
do.
you guys all
yeah,
night. Like I'm having a
I'm down.
great time. You know what I
I
mean?
enjoy. I feel like myself. I enjoy conspiracy theories because it's always something to think about, especially now. I mean, you have all the time in the world to think,
Yeah,
but and I feel like a
Hey, that's
majority of
just that's just more thumbnail practice I get to do. So,
it's more thumbnail. Colton, what do you think about all this horse shit?
I mean, I don't know if I believe the conspiracy that it's man-made per se,
You
but
don't have to. No, no, no. I'm just
I
like,
know, but
what's your whole
I do
perspective on it?
believe, I believe what you guys were saying about the whole social media shit. I think that's right, but I believe that it came from fucking animals and shit.
you
I
just
don't know.
believe that it you don't think it could have been man-made. You don't believe that
I don't
society
think
could be
it's
that
not that it
harsh.
couldn't have. I just don't think that there's no evidence to support it. I mean, it could be because they're hiding the fucking evidence, but I mean,
I mean,
That's always a
if you
thing.
want to
Yeah.
go into the evidence of it being man-made, I mean, you can look at the way that this virus is constructed. It looks like something we've never seen naturally, really. I mean, this virus in particular,
oh,
it
when
has
was the
it has
last
certain
like?
property. Listen, bro, it has certain properties of SARS. It has certain properties of H1N1. Like all these things kind of like put together, it just looks kind of artificial
Oh,
from
okay,
a
Like
scientific perspective. I
cuz
mean,
it's like
honestly,
you could see I could see that a lot because they can take cuz they say it's just like the common flu. They just took
yeah,
a branch off of that and excelled it and just like
exactly.
they just
my like
updated the
viewing of
virus.
it is like the reason why I think it's not was like the bubonic plague wasn't fucking man-made. Obviously, the
Yeah.
fucking
No, of
uh,
course not.
Ebola wasn't man-made. AIDS that was somewhat man-made.
Well, we
I'm
can.
just
I
trying to think
mean,
about all the pandemics that are on my screen right now, but
yeah,
like they're
none of
not.
these things were man-made. H1N1
And
wasn't
you guys say
man-made.
that it's like nothing we've ever seen before. Those are all things
And
that we've
you
seen
also got to
before. So
think
I
all the
mean,
pandemics happened every 100 years, every
dude,
1920, 2020.
that's the part
That's
that's fucked.
but you also got to think cuz
Swine flu.
viruses
Uh,
update over time. And
there's another
that's the
one.
scientific part about it, which is also really fucking
Spanish
Yeah, but
flu.
sketch.
I mean, as you know, Cole, evolution, like through natural selection, just in terms of like viruses and all that. Viruses, they evolve a little quicker than like sentient beings, but they still evolve very slowly in terms of like if you're looking at it from a human life perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
Like a monkey evolved into a human over millions and millions and millions and millions of years, countless millions of years. But a virus, it still takes thousands of years for viruses to evolve to the point where they are right now. Like, and that's what this whole like, oh, coronavirus, it has pieces of SARS, it has pieces of all this different stuff. It's just weird to me. It seems like I don't know.
It was just a mixture of this, and that thrown into one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something out there. I think it's bullshit though. Like it has a little bit of fucking HIV or something in there. I don't know. I think that's horse shit, but that's just what I heard. I shouldn't just be repeating shit that I heard on a podcast, but I'm gonna do it, dude, because it gets views.
I don't know. The whole thing about the 2020 or the 1820, 1920, 2020. It's kind of fucked.
It all lines up, man.
And that's the scientific part about it, how it should happen, and it did happen.
I mean, yeah, we can look at it scientifically. But who is saying that is scientifically what is supposed to happen? Who's saying that? You know what I mean?
It's just the repeated pattern is kind of like you're assuming that it will happen.
Repeated pattern for the last 300 years, but
yeah.
how far back does it go? You know what I mean?
It may be more,
what you got to look at, like the bubonic plague. Like if that happened in like what, I'm sure it was like a 20 of whatever the fuck year it was, like 1620. I don't fucking know, but
it happened in the I'm pretty sure it happened. Man,
I mean, either way, but my point is,
I think the Renaissance, somewhere around the Renaissance, like 1400s, something like that.
All right, so probably like 1420. All right, so
okay, I got a timeline of all the epidemics. Let me get.
I'm just saying, you gotta like, what countries that were around then are around now, and where did it start? There's no way that the U.S. just was like, oh, we got all these files from this country and they're doing that, and then we're gonna fucking take that from there. And then none of these plagues or whatever you want to call them, pandemics, started in China. So it's not like they could just say that the Chinese government had it.
Hold on, you just said something that is very conducive to my point. You just said none of the pandemics started in China. Why is this one so special that it did start in China?
I don't know why did all the fucking ones start?
Where did most of those pandemics starts? Right, they started in Eastern or Western Europe. That's where most of them started. Why does this one start? Why does this one start in China?
Well, I don't know how
on top of each other.
I don't know how accurate this is, but it's because it's off of Wikipedia. But it does say the bubonic plague started in 1338 to 1339 in Asia.
Yeah.
And then it went out. Then it went to 1346 in China, and then India. So
I mean, if the Chinese, if it did start in Asia, if the Chinese have all these fucking files, I mean, then maybe. But like, if they're like,
what do you mean by files?
Like, let's say that they're not files, records, or whatever, and they're like, all right, well, the population was this big then, and going back to Bill Gates' population control, if the population was this big then, this plague killed off 100,000 people. Let's just fucking recreate it, name it something else, and then kill off 100,000 people. Since
the reason I believe it's population control, and you can go back and research this, they've been trying to control the population, and they meaning the deep state, the Illuminati, the people at the top have been trying to control the population.
Yeah, I don't think you can deny that.
Years and years.
Yeah, you can definitely. There's so many talks on it now that the population's so
That's
big,
what I'm saying.
even to try and move to a different planet, that they're thinking of ways to minimize it.
I feel like
it's all bullshit.
Ebola, man. If this virus is man-made, I feel like Ebola was man-made, but we like found a cure, and then they like kind of fucked
the problem
it
with Ebola, was it just killed people off too quickly, so it stopped spreading because the people died that had it so quickly. But and this virus, I mean, it has like a 14-day incubation period, and then it takes 14 days to either kill you or you recover.
See,
it's a long time.
In 1630 to 1631, that's when the Italian plague started, and that's when it developed. Uh, but it doesn't. I mean, it's like roughly every like 10 years. It's like off by century wise, but um, the
Yeah,
Great
dude. I
Plague
mean,
of Marseille in France that was in 1720, which killed 100,000 people. So that's at this about the same rate as this one right now.
dude, I don't. Is are scientists really saying that every 100 years a pandemic starts?
I mean,
Because
it's
I'm gonna be
it's
real with you, man. I don't fucking believe that.
it's been known, like just to that usually every 100 years it's bound to happen. That's just what I've seen, heard, and that's just what people have been saying.
I mean, yeah, people have been saying it, but who starts this shit? Who perpetuates this shit? You
Someone
know
that
what I'm
just does a
saying?
little
Like,
bit of looking into the past and just looks
Let's
for
look. Who has the most? What's the country
patterns.
with the most amount of people in it?
well,
China.
it's India.
Yeah, it's India, I think.
India that has like a
All right.
hundred,
Well,
one
and
point eight billion
who has
people.
beef with India? China.
Say who has Pakistan has beef with India if you really want to get into it.
Well, I mean, so does fucking China. It's not like they don't.
Uh,
So what are you
not
getting at
really.
here, though?
Like they're probably like, all right, well, this is already in our continent, and we already
Listen,
have so
guy,
many people. Like,
from the time that that the US has owed a debt to China, we've been fighting a war with China, just not with guns and men, but
yeah, trade war.
with money and tariffs and all this shit. They want
Politics
to get
war,
at
yeah.
us just like we want to get at them.
Yeah, it's a
The
trade
Chinese
war.
are an enemy to the Americans, and that's something that they don't want you to know, that these globalists don't want you to know. They want everyone to be happy and all this shit.
I low
Oh,
key
one
think
big happy
China's like an
world.
enemy to the whole world. I feel like
Oh,
they're,
I mean, obviously not. And I'm not talking about the Chinese people. Like,
but I
I
feel
know
like
Chinese people, and I'm fine with Chinese
in a
people. I'm talking about the Chinese Communist Party.
yeah,
That's
that's
what I'm
what, yeah,
talking about.
yeah, not like somebody that's in like England or somebody that's in uh
That just
Africa.
happens to be
That's yeah, it's
Chinese.
it's
I
just
don't.
it's
Yeah,
going after their politics and the
their politics.
yeah. I do
Their
feel like
country
they
is
are
politically
they're mainly
like
for
disgusting.
themselves in like thinking of ways to put them on top, like how every country is, but it's in a different way.
Yeah,
It's
they go to the extreme with it to where they work their employees 14 hours a day to where they want to jump out of the window of the fucking iPhone factory. That's how they do it.
for the benefit of their
Yeah, they
politics.
have 4-year-old kids making shoes over there. It's disgusting, and they're eating bats. That's the fucking shit that they eat. I mean, Jesus Christ, don't you feel bad for these people? They're literally starving and dying in these sweatshops. It's gross. It's disgusting. And we as an American people, I'm wearing it right now, Adidas. This was probably made by a 6-year-old kid in fucking China. It's terrible. We perpetuate it though. And it's just what it is. It's a symbiotic relationship between us and China. And I mean,
We
I don't know how
the
to
U.S.
stop it.
put themselves uh on that pedestal so that we don't have to be in that position. They thought ahead and thought for their people, I would say, so that
Yeah,
we
but
wouldn't get put in that position.
their people, our people, it's people that we're talking about. It's gross that anyone has to do that shit.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. Yeah, I feel like
See,
nobody should
right.
have to go through that.
I
And
mean, yeah, I'm glad that Americans aren't in sweatshops. Don't get me wrong here. I don't want that to be what's coming off by what I'm saying. It's just that I don't think that at the same time, I don't think that it should be something that we fucking support. You know what I mean?
no, there definitely needs to be a step up in the care
Human
for
rights.
people. And yeah,
Yeah.
like it happened in the United States with laws, but China also is on their own wave of how they feel, and they're not
Yeah.
as much. I feel like they're, you
They
know,
don't give a fuck about their people.
but I think they're getting pushed by world leaders to somewhat help.
Now you're speaking my fucking
I,
language,
I
bro.
feel like they're, I mean, yeah, I feel like they're getting the idea that they need to step the fuck up because they're kind of
Well,
being pretty fucking shitty to them, and people are noticing.
well, I mean, listen, the Chinese have been dying out ever since the 70s and the 80s because they were dealing with overpopulation. But now they're dealing with a country where it's just full of old people, and their population's going down a lot and a lot each year. because they had that one child policy. And they, like the generation that we call Generation X, they didn't have kids. Like they had maybe 1 or 0 kids. And their generation that we would call the millennials, there weren't enough of them, and now it's just a country full of old people dying off.
Yeah,
That's how
shitty.
Italy is.
I do feel like for some of the people
Yeah.
that believe that we need to kill off people, it's gonna happen eventually because we had the phase where booming and even where so many people were getting born. Families of 7, 8, 5 were just common, and eventually it'll happen just because of the pattern. It'll just
listen, man.
slope
You could think it's happening already. You can make the argument that it's happening already. You see the government pushing little girls to get on birth control from a very young age. You see all of this shit, dude. You see Plan B. You see like you should be a strong, independent woman, which I agree with. Like women, if you like, obviously go pursue careers and all this, but they're pushing women to not want to have a family and take care of a family. And that's what the rhetoric has been for the last 20 years. I mean, they want women to be job seekers and breadwinners. So obviously, so they don't reproduce. And I mean, that's just my take on it. I mean, it's obvious to me just by the way that they portray, like they portray a housewife to be stupid and a woman that goes out and gets a job to be smart and independent and strong. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I think they want to do that because they don't want us reproducing as much as we do, because obviously we reproduce a lot. But I mean, we're coming out of it. In the last couple generations, we stopped reproducing as much as we used to. You know, I mean, baby boomers was a huge generation, but like our generation, Gen Z, it's not that big, and the generation of our kids is not going to be that big. Like it's going to keep diminishing. You know what I'm saying?
Which is, it's good and bad. Like yeah, we gotta keep the. It's like you don't let people do what they want to do with their lives, but it's also you have to keep the world at a stable amount of people. It's just how it has to be. But I want to, if you want, I want to move on to a different theory. But before we get into that deep theory,
This is gonna be part 2 or what?
no,
We can just keep going, man.
I want to get on with
the 3-hour pod.
I want to talk about the fact of the day, and then we'll go into one more theory, and then I think we'll make a part 2 after that theory.
Hey,
Cool.
the longer podcasts, I mean, they
I'm
tend
cool
to
with
have
it, man.
longer watch times. So
Hey.
Let's what you want to get on with the fact of the day, Colton?
What's the fact of the day, babe?
oh yeah, so I just Cole found this one, so I didn't even. Although people who keep pet turtles
Hold on.
what do you mean, hold on?
Do you want a song for your fact of the day? Like, do you want an intro?
You want? Let's
I mean,
hear it. Let's hear it.
I don't
Never
think
mind,
Dom's
guy.
gonna
Just-
do
just-
it. I was just gonna say I don't think Dom's gonna do it every
Yeah,
time.
because
that
he doesn't
can-
have balls like me. It's fine.
Do
All
your
right, go
intro.
ahead.
Dude. No, do
No,
your
it's
intro.
fine.
Yeah,
Hey, dude.
you didn't even have one. You were just
Yeah, you're right. I would have made one up on the spot.
all right. Anyways, although people who keep pet turtles tend to use the collective term herd to refer to the group of turtles, the classic collective term is a bale of turtles, like a bale of hay. So I mean, that's
Bale
the
of
thing.
turtles, huh?
See, I've never called it a herd or a bale of turtles. I've just said
Also,
it
who
as
the
a.
hell has more than 2 turtles in their house at once?
I get
I'm
herd.
gonna be honest with you. That changes everything I know about turtles, and it changes the way I watch Finding Nemo now.
Well, I get herd, but
it's just a bale of turtles.
I don't get
It's
a
a bale
bale
of
of
turtles
them.
now.
Yeah, I
It's
don't.
not a school like they were saying. It's bullshit.
But wait,
Basically, I've been lied to my whole life.
well,
and
is
that's fine.
is a turtle a fish?
A turtle's a reptile of some sort,
Here, let me.
and a fish is not a reptile. A fish is like its own
Look it
thing.
up.
So then, are all reptiles a bale of the reptile?
Oh no, I think it's an amphibian, dude. No, it's a reptile. It's a reptile. I'm an idiot. Sorry.
A reptile dysfunction?
I honestly, dude, I need you. Are you guys sponsored by Blue Chew? I need to get on that.
Sadly, no. We gotta hit about a Blue Chew.
Hey, Blue Chew, come on, dog. I got a soft dick that's ready to go right now.
I
No,
mean, it says turtles are just turtles. It
I'm
doesn't
gonna
say
be honest.
they're
I've been hard
classified
since
as a
this
species.
podcast started, and that's just because I love you guys.
Or did you take a Blue Chew?
I didn't take a Blue Chew. I took some, off-brand,
Yeah.
off-brand Cialis.
Some
All right,
non-Blue Chew since they didn't sponsor us, right?
Yeah, I took a
Yeah.
Cialis. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna have a 4-hour erection, and it's cool.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to break up between the conspiracy
Oh, dude,
theories.
I got a great picture for the thumbnail. It's gonna look
You got a
great.
great picture for that. That's a beautiful thing, Cole.
Dude, it's pretty fepic. Remember that term?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't, and I think it should stay in high school.
It was like fucking epic or some shit like that.
Fepic.
Remember that? Maybe that's just a me and Mateo thing. But
Hey, Mateo's going to be watching this podcast, so you guys are going to get a new listener. Because I told him to watch, because I told him I was going to be dropping some facts
Dude,
on here.
I want to get him on. Man.
Yeah, Colton said that he
yeah.
wanted to get him on.
That'd be an
Dude.
interesting guest.
He would definitely be a good guest.
That man's got
He's a
some.
good guy to talk to. I mean,
He's a good storyteller too.
listen, guy, me and him dropped acid last summer. That was the best day of my life, guy. That was literally the best day of my life.
Hey, we
Yeah,
might
like
have to have a multi-guest podcast then.
Dude, me and Mateo with Dom.
Ooh, 5 people in here? That'd be a good
Dude?
podcast.
That'd be a
I'm
hard
ready
ass
to
thumbnail to
go.
make, but it'd be a good.
Yeah.
All right, Cole, you say you wanted to talk another theory?
Yeah. So it's not a. I don't know. You can call it what you want, but I was listening to a podcast today, and it said about divorces, and it said if people. So right now, I think the divorce rate it's either at 50-50 or it's just a little bit lower. It's like
I think it's a little bit higher.
it might be 60-40 either way, but
Something like that.
I don't know the exact. But they're saying that if you look into the stats of everything, there's 2 parents, so they get divorced. So then, say you have 2 kids, so both parents have to buy double the clothing, double the food, double everything that they do. So imagine if the divorce rate was lowered. How badly would that affect the economy? And you got to think, are they trying to keep the divorce rates high to help the economy? I don't know. That when I heard that, I thought about it and I was like, as it's gone up, I don't know. That's kind of something. I don't know. I never thought about
That's
that.
That's not a bad
Not a bad hypothesis.
theory there.
It's kind of like eye opening, to be honest.
I'm gonna take it one step further, and I think they're trying to break up the idea of a family.
Oh, really?
That's my opinion. I mean, if you look at the last like 20 years in media and all this stuff, all they've been promoting, and I'll say it again, is women being independent and men being independent of women, and just like, you guys can do your own thing. It doesn't matter if you have kids or if you have a family. And if you do have a family, you can just like, if you don't want your kid and you're pregnant, you can kill the baby. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, nothing matters. Like, nothing is sacred anymore. That's what it seems like.
Baby.
Honestly, that's what it seems like. And it looks like that's where we're going. And honestly, you want to know why I think they want to do it is because I think they all fucking worship Satan. But that's my theory. We can get into that if
That's
you
a
want,
weird.
but
That's a weird tie to.
I think that might be going a little bit too much of a stretch on that.
They
no.
worship Satan, so
Listen,
they
bro.
want to kill
Listen,
babies.
bro. There's a lot of evidence to support that the high up elites
The baby
don't
killers.
worship a god. They worship a Satan. They worship a satanic figure, Baphomet.
I say they can worship
God.
They can worship
fallen
whoever
one.
they want, as long as if they are worshiping a Satan, that means there is a God. So they can worship whoever they
Worshipping a
want.
Satan.
But the thing is, man, yeah, and that's a good way to look at it. That's honestly a good way to look at it. But I think with the whole movement of like trying to
Jesus,
have.
break something.
Yeah, honestly, my chair's falling off the little the rolling pad because I'm just getting into this conversation, guys. You gotta listen, dude. This
Sounded
has
like
been a
someone
good
was trying to like
podcast.
break into your house or something.
And my dogs are barking in the background too. If
Yeah,
you
we
can hear
can't
it.
even hear it.
All right,
Gotta love Murphy.
you gotta love 'em.
Charlie's a pretty good guy too. That's his dogs, by the way. If you're
Hey,
wondering.
Colton,
Howdy.
back up off the
Yeah.
goddamn camera, man.
You're about to headbutt the camera.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot it zooms in and on Zoom for some reason. Is
Hey,
that what they
man.
call it? That
You got the Nick Merckx
conspiracy
Colton, let's
theory.
talk about
playing
you,
games.
guy. I mean, what's going on with you?
Sleep.
Sounds like nothing.
I
You.
mean, I can't work.
So what are you doing
Honestly,
besides
dude,
work and sleep? Are you like
I need
working
to get
I
you
mean,
into
I
out?
help my
some
dad,
fucking-
but I help my dad with some side jobs here and there, like
Oh
roofing
yeah, roofing, and the sort.
and the sort. Yeah, I've been fishing. I dabbled in
Been
golf
fucking?
once.
Been
Didn't like
fucking?
it. I mean,
Hey man,
Social
it's just a
distance.
As of right now,
Also-
yeah.
social distancing. So I mean, if I'm fucking this, I guess.
Hey man, hey, whatever works for you. I don't care if I get the other person off when I'm fucking. I just want to come, and that's a fact.
Why'd you say it like? I just want to come.
I just want to come,
All right,
and that's it,
before
Hey,
we
we're trying to
start-
get we're trying to get monetized, buddy. So,
dude.
like,
Honestly,
Well-
I'm gonna get you guys demonetized so fast because I'm talking
we
about
have to get
Before-
monetized
crushing
to
and
get demonetized.
come.
Before we start going off on other things, I want to kind of split up the two podcasts into two different things because I know this second one's probably going to be full of a bunch of fuck ass and dumb shit.
bunch of fuck ass.
Yeah, so
Podcast.
God damn it.
in about probably a couple of days there'll be a second podcast coming out of part 2 with Ben. It's going to be a lot of
Wait, when's
fuck
this one
ass
coming out?
banter.
Sunday?
This one will come out.
Sunday, right?
Yeah, this one will be out Sunday, and then so probably Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. But I don't know. We'll see. It'll come out. If it's Tuesday, then we'll expect one like Thursday or
Right,
Friday.
y'all see that?
But
Hey,
Come
so
on,
you
look.
guys know how in part 1 I was talking about all this like smart shit. In
Yeah.
part 2, you're gonna see a whole nother guy. It's like there's gonna be a whole different guest here.
all right, well
And
that's
it's
that's the cutoff. We'll see you guys in part 2. If you guys did enjoy, like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the bell.
Love
Hit
you,
up our
babes.
socials in the link in the description. And yeah, we'll see you guys in part 2.